Okay, this week we continue Joaquin Phoenix month with Her, a film directed by Spike Jonze that stars Joaquin Phoenix, Amy Adams, Rooney Mara, Olivia Wilde, and Scarlett Johansson. A modern love story, if you will, that explores so much. It explores relationships. It explores facing hard things, facing things in your life. It explores coping. It explores avoidance. It explores AI. It explores what does it mean to be in love. It explores so many things. And we have a lot to discuss, Zach, but I'm very excited to discuss this movie.
As am I, Hunter. However,
yes.
I need to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
But is her good?
Let's find out.
But is it good podcast? Yeah.
All right. God, I'm like scrunched up in this chair and I feel like I'm like sitting like a frog.
Is your fat ass hanging over the sides?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just spilling over.
Your absolute donk. It's just...
Dude, I actually saw a guy today. We were at the Avenue, and this is a weird sentence to say, but I saw him and I was like, dude, that dude's got an ass on him. It was just like...
Welcome to the But Is It Good podcast.
It was just so it was so in your face. I was like, bro, what do you do, man?
I am your host, Zach Olson.
Oh, God. And I am your host, Hunter Callahan. I'm telling you, man, good for him. I was like, dude, you keep doing those squats, bro. Like, it's working, man.
Nothing but squats.
I was like, goodness gracious. Hold on. Let me just take a sip of my Nespresso coffee.
In case y'all haven't heard, Hunter got an espresso machine. Not a sponsor. But, I mean, would not be opposed.
Would not be opposed. Zach, how are you doing? Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
I'm getting over something. I have a little bit of a cough, but I'm getting over something. I'm good. Otherwise, how are you?
I'm good. I guess that's kind of a redundant question because while you'll be hearing this, like a week after we did The Master, we're recording this like 2 days later.
Yep.
Because I am leaving for New York City tomorrow morning, bright and early. So,
because he's a Mets fan.
Hey, we don't joke about that on this podcast. That's crossing a line, Zach. Just call me Garth.
Oh, God.
Just call me Garth.
Not Garth Brooks. Mets legend.
No, I'm going for work.
Do you know how I found out about that? Sorry.
Was that real?
Yes. So Garth Brooks played for the Mets. The reason I even found out about it is because I was watching this interview that Craig Counsell was giving. I think it was like an older interview. Anyways, they were asking him why his batting stance was so funky. You know, like he was the guy that like held the bat like straight up, and then would swing. You know, it was a wonky batting stance. And they asked him why he did that, and he said that he was in spring training one year with his normal batting stance, and he went like 0 for 15, and Garth Brooks made a diving catch on him, and he got like DFA'd. And he said he had to change something up. So he just started doing things until something worked. Isn't that funny?
What a sentence to say. That's so funny.
Oh, goodness.
That's
Anyways,
so funny.
You're doing well?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Excited to go to the city. Cool. Well, I'm very excited to discuss this movie. But before we do that, just real quick, please like and subscribe and share and all that stuff. Yeah. Please do it. Please continue our streak of 5-star reviews. We're currently a 5-star podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Fun fact of the day. That's a true sentence. Anyway, Zach, you ready? All right. First reactions. You can go first because you literally just finished this movie, didn't you not?
Not for my first time, but
Well, no,
yeah,
I know.
I
but
just
like you just
I had
finished
to
it.
I had to watch it this evening. Yes. First reaction. So I love this film. I do. It's quirky. It's weird. It's emotional. Both funny and sad and frustrating at times, and it just the gambit of emotions. Minus it didn't make me hungry. Is hunger an emotion?
I don't think so.
How are you? I am mad. How are you? I am happy. How are you? I am hungry.
It's an emotion. You proved me wrong.
This film didn't make me hungry.
Okay.
But otherwise, it made me feel the full gambit of emotions. Rewatching it, I was surprised. Like, I didn't remember Olivia Wilde being in this. I definitely didn't remember Chris Pratt being in this. That threw me off guard. He had a funny little role. The performances were great. The cinematography was amazing. I want to talk about Hoyt van Hoytema when we get into it because good lord. Arcade Fire did the music,
Dude.
It's a good soundtrack.
Dude.
It's a very good
I've
soundtrack.
literally been listening to the album.
Yeah?
I've been listening to the album, yeah.
And I'm excited to talk about it. I don't think I have anything bad to say about this film.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to second all of that. This is gonna be a lot of this is a good one. We got a good one in today. This is actually only the second time that I've watched this movie, believe it or not.
Okay.
So I watched it a few years ago when I was living in the city and I was at home one day alone. I just put it on and it stopped me in my tracks. And I just sat there and I think I cried. I'm not even kidding. I'm pretty sure I cried. And I laughed and all these kind of stuff. Like you said, it runs the emotional gambit. And I knew then that I loved this movie. Then I watched it the other night. Again, when I was folding laundry and I just stopped. I had to just stop what I was doing and just watch it. And it was the same response, if not even more informed. That makes sense? And yeah, there's a lot that I'd forgotten about this movie, like some of the cast members and some of the turns that it takes. But I think I can say now that this is a top 5 movie ever for me.
Wow.
I think it is. I'm not kidding. I love this movie.
I think that's the first time you've vocally put something in your top 5 echelon of all time on the podcast.
Really?
Yeah, and we've done some bangers.
There's just something about this movie and the way that it sees just the world or love or relationships or existence. And I'm just yes, man, this is, you know what I mean? It feels like it's portraying something that you've tried to express before, It's just, I just think it's great. And the performances are incredible. And, like you said, everything about the movie is phenomenal. The direction, but also the cinematography is brilliant. The soundtrack, dude,
yeah.
I think the soundtrack hit me harder this time than it did the first time. I literally, I sang, so I just put Hollis down to sleep and I sang him the Little Moon song that they sang,
It's such a great song.
And I was like, this is just, and the piano, the beach song. Oh God, dude.
The piano, both the beach piano and when they get in that little fight and then get back together and,
Photograph. I think it's called Photograph, whatever she says is Photograph. I think this is brilliant. I think this is brilliant. It's brilliant.
I'm looking at the cast list, and there are names that I Kristen Wiig was the sexy kitten.
That's so funny. Bill Hader.
Bill Hader was chat room friend number 2. Mm-hmm.
Oh, Spike Jonze was the actual alien kid. It says that I didn't realize this.
It was the alien kid, the fuck you fuck face.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize, but apparently the role of Samantha was recast in post-production.
Really?
So, like, it says, and then some scenes, then some other scenes, some new scenes were filmed afterwards. But that means most of what he's reacting to in the film is somebody else's voice.
That's crazy. Anyways, we gotta.
Sorry, I'm reading all these things. It says that this is now considered one of the best films of the 2010s and 21st century.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Only made $48.3 million.
Do you see all these top 10 lists that this film has made it onto? And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 critics that have it number 1.
Wow.
I don't know if this is all time.
I get it. That's insane.
Wow.
Anyway, all right, movie. Here we go. Wait, it's time for movie in a minute. Zach, can you explain to them what this is, please?
Okay, so here's the deal. We got this guy. His name's Hunter. He's a musician. He also edits videos. And he has a kid who doesn't know basic math. So
he does
Hunter
actually.
has...
You pig fuck.
Wake him up. Wake him up.
No.
Ask him what
dude.
2 times 8 is. If he can answer
2 times
that.
8?
That's basic math, man.
He knows addition.
He
knows addition.
Does he know subtraction?
I said, hey, what's 2 plus 1? He said, 3. And I said, Zach don't know what he's talking about.
Listen, that's like the third... No, it's the second. That's the second equation that you would teach a child. 1 plus 1 would be the first one. And then 1 plus 2 is next.
Zach, he's 2.
Could be memory at that point. I was reading this article the other day about this idea that we think we need to hold our kids back. And I'm not saying to push Hollis too hard, but we think, that things can't be understood, and they really can. So there was this story about these 4-year-old children who were reading Shakespeare and like comprehending it and having like really intelligent conversations about it because they were encouraged to do so. So what I'm saying is push Hollis too hard.
Okay. I'll do that.
He could. I'm just saying he could know calculus in like 6 months.
We'll do 100 equations before breakfast every single day.
Shake on it.
No. Because that means I have to do that too. I don't want to do that. Can you just explain Movie Minute, please?
You got 60. No, this is all part of it.
Oh, okay.
So Hunter has 60 seconds to talk about this film and to tell us everything about this film. What color shirt that Joaquin Phoenix was wearing in every single scene, what he said, the subtle differences in the lighting between shots. What each shot, if we've got a dirty shot, if we've got a clean shot, if we've got tracking shots, if we've got other kinds of shots. He's going to tell us everything about the film in 60 seconds.
That's right. I probably should have been getting my timer open whenever.
And if he doesn't, he's drawn and quartered.
What does that mean?
Drawn and quartered?
Does that mean what I think it means? Does that mean I'm going to get like cut into fourths?
Pulled into fourths.
That's what I thought.
By 4 horses.
That's awful.
I'm going to call him Famine. What are the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse? Plague.
I don't know, actually. I feel like I should know this.
4 horsemen. We've got death, war, famine and conquest.
Hmm.
Interesting that plague isn't one of them. I thought plague would be one of them. Because I feel like war and conquest, are war and conquest different things?
I don't know.
I guess conquest is like when you beat the other guy into submission. You've conquested him. Movie in a minute.
This was all part of the explanation of what movie in a minute is. Here we go. This is Her. Her, the film Her in 1 minute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we meet Theo. It's the future in LA. Things are nice and pretty. He's sad. He's very sad. He writes letters for other couples. Anyway, he's recently divorced, or not divorced. He's separated, but he has to get divorced. Anyway, he is lonely, very sad. He gets this AI, this OS named Samantha, and she's like super realistic, and she like, you know, knows him, gets to know him, they can know each other. He falls in love with her, and they kind of navigate this relationship of like what it means to be in love, because she doesn't have a body and she's an AI, but she's learning and she's evolving, and he's becoming happy again. And then we kind of see the relationship play out. And then his friend, Amy Adams, she gets divorced too. It's all about relationships and love. Anyway, she like helps him write a book, and then she develops this new stuff with these other AIs. And she's like, we have to go because we're too advanced and you won't understand. So they break up, and then he goes to the roof with Amy Adams' character's name, I don't know. And then it's all sad, and they look like they're moving forward with their lives, and he's growing and evolving. That's it.
That was really good.
I feel like I skipped a lot.
It felt like it was like a minute and a half long because it felt like you said a lot.
It was I actually kind of finished at like 59 seconds.
Can we get the horses? Athena's getting them.
Did you hear what I said? I said I kind of finished. So I like was pretty much done, but I like let
so you
it.
faked it.
Sort of,
You're one of those
faked it.
fakes finishing.
I faked finished. Yes, I faked finished.
Why did you repeat it like when someone says a joke like that, you don't need to reiterate it like 3 times. Just let it seep. It's like a tea bag. Just let it sit there and fill the water. Just soak.
Oh God, we're children. Oh man, what are we doing here again?
What?
Are you crying?
I laughed a little hard and yeah.
Anyway,
Ben
welcome to the
cried.
podcast. Zach, how are you?
Oh God, are we redoing all of that? I'm good. My name is Zach, and I'm here to talk
cool.
about a movie.
Her. Let's dive in. So
Where do you want to go?
we open. How should we tackle this?
Theodore Twombly.
I meant to say when I did my first reactions too, that like the world that they live in, I love how, I guess, lived in it feels. That's a weird way to say that, but it's so, I don't know if understated is the word. It's so like, I love that it's not like, oh, look at what LA is like in the future. Look at technology now. Look at it. It's so crazy. It's just kind of showing. I love those kind of movies, even whether it's horror or scary or interesting or drama or thriller, that it just kind of shows it to you. It's not like, blah, look at this.
Did you throw interesting in there? Like the other genres aren't interesting?
I don't think so.
I thought you said horror or drama or interesting or... Sorry, I must be
I'll have to
hearing
listen
things.
back. I don't think I did. I might have. Who knows? But like, because they're in Los Angeles, right? And so you can.
I think.
Yeah. Well, I think when I was watching it, I could recognize some buildings, and then I
Mhm.
realized that the skyline had totally changed.
Well, it's the
You
future.
know, like no, I know, but
The
I think that's
coast is
interesting.
probably like inland.
That's
They
true.
might be on an island.
But I also really liked the clothes were super interesting. Like
What do you mean?
Chris, well, just like I don't know what it was. It fit into the world.
At one
There was
point,
a
he was wearing this like white like jogger situation, but it had like a big old crotch pocket. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember that one.
He's like dancing for Samantha in his apartment, and he's
Oh
wearing
yeah,
these
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
these
Yeah,
joggers,
like
but it's got this
weird
big
little
old
long john
long
type
john
joggers.
situation. Yeah. And I was like, those are
Um,
future pants. Those aren't present pants.
Well, there was one scene where like Chris Pratt walks up and he's wearing like these super high waisted trousers with like a really 80s looking shirt, which can
Mhm.
happen now. Like that's fine. But for some reason in the world, but then he was wearing the same kind of. I was like, this is like a trend. I don't know. It just felt interesting. I really liked it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm not sure how to tackle this because there's so many things that we could talk about. Like I love the little ways that the movie tells you about his loneliness, you know,
Mm-hmm.
his disconnection from the world from his world that he's in. We can start there. We can talk about the music, talk about whatever, and you just go through the plot. I don't care.
I think the cold open, correct me if I'm wrong, is him like writing a letter, right? And he's, saying the things, and then it becomes clear as he's saying it that it's not him, it's not his relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's like a beautiful way to open this film because it's like someone who's searching for like intimacy or a relationship, right?
Yeah.
And then it becomes clear that it's like kind of artificial. What do you think? What would you do if Hannah bought like a book of like love letters or whatever, and then like letters that you thought that she had written to you? I don't know if she's ever written you love letters. I feel like that's something that you would do to her, and then she like wouldn't reciprocate. Not that she doesn't, not that she doesn't love you. What I'm saying is that is. Let me hear me out.
I'm gonna tell her that.
Hear me out. Hold on. First of all, has she? Has she?
Yeah. Actually, yes. We actually both have.
Okay.
That's so funny. That's
No.
hilarious. I
No.
love that.
What I'm saying is that like, so Hunter, you are this person who like would like you could meet you one time, and be like that dude writes love letters. You know what I mean?
Thank you. That means
Like
so
this,
much. Actually,
like this like hopeless romantic musician.
Oh,
Not hopeless
thank you.
anymore. I mean, there's hope. there's hope.
Most
Man, I feel like I'm in the doghouse. But I feel like
no, I'm just kidding. That's so funny.
I feel like generally speaking, when you do those things, even though I know Hannah loves it, as a joke she'll also like roll her eyes with stuff like that. So you know what I mean? So anyways, we don't have to
No, I'm just kidding.
hang up on
but-
the fact that I said that your wife doesn't write you love letters.
But you were saying like, what if I found a book and saw like letters that I thought she wrote to me in them, and they were like written by somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
That would suck.
Yeah.
That'd be very confusing. But I think it's so interesting because there's so many ways to look at what he does for a living, which is, what is it called? handwrittenletters.com or whatever.
Beautifulhandwrittenletters.com, which
okay.
by the way, if you go to that website, I was curious. It takes you to the Warner Brothers page for this movie and like where to stream it and where to buy it.
That's so funny. I love this whole open because one, it does show Theo and like what he wants, right? Like his longing for that, and that's in him, and that's kind of where he wants to be. He even says that he's like, I don't want to get divorced because I like being married. I like, it's hard, but it's, all that kind of stuff, and he wants the relationship. But also on the other side, you see that they're in a world where there are couples who've been together for decades who are just sort of phoning it in now, where it's like, oh, I'm too busy. They can do this for me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then they pan out, and it's like, everyone's the same in that office. They're all doing it. You know what I mean? Everyone's the same.
Except for Chris Pratt, who's like a receptionist.
He's like a receptionist or something.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that's a super interesting way to open the movie because it's like, I don't know. It's just it's a fast because it makes it even more sad for him, but it's also like a really sad state of the world when they're, you know, because we kind of see him choose these mind-numbing coping mechanisms, right? He plays the video game.
He's like paddling like a dog.
Yeah, and then he does the phone chat room thing with
with sexy
dead
kitten.
cat, the dead cat.
Man, I don't remember that. That's the first thing that threw me off guard was the choke me with that dead cat that's next to the bed.
Yeah, I was watching it and I was downstairs and I was like, I need to turn this down. I was like, this is super intense. I was like, wait a second, and she goes, choke me with the dead cat. And so there's fun humor, but like there's that too, where like he, instead of like trying to face what is going on in his life, he goes to those things, and there's like a hedonistic kind of element to the film too.
Y'all have a connection because he fake finished. In that scene, she's like, "Oh, that was so great," and he was like, "Yeah, for me too."
Yeah. Okay. You brought it back full circle. I like it.
But see, you don't need to repeat it 3 times.
I haven't said it again. I didn't say
it.
it.
Yeah, you're right.
But anyway, no, like I loved all that too. Like there's like I don't know, it's just he's super detached, you know, from kind of all of it. You mentioned cinematography.
Yeah.
I watched this video the other day about just kind of this film, and I want to go back and watch it again now because I want to like be more aware of it. But like, how they kind of use the use of focus with him, where he's always kind of in this shallow focus.
Yeah.
And kind of like, well, first off, we almost always kind of see him in like a medium to close up shot, where he's always kind of close. And if we don't, he feels very isolated in his space, you know. But I was watching this thing and it was pointing out all the shots of him with like the city behind him or like his environment. It's always a super shallow depth of focus. So he's in focus and the world is super out of focus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like creating that distance of like he's so disconnected. It's just all the little things, man. Like
there are points in the film where that soft focus is tightened up so that you can see both him and the skyline behind him in clarity. That's when he's with
doing the work.
Yeah.
What was that?
I was itching my nose. Sometimes you gotta do this situation.
We've already established.
But
we actually had a podcast recently where we discussed this.
So the rubbing of the tip is good for a tip itch when it's like itchy in the tip of your nose. But when it's like the base of the like where the nose meets your face, you gotta like I can't get all the way, and if I can't, how can you? Because I mean, you got a lot more to push. See, that doesn't. I don't know. I feel like if I push too hard, I'm gonna break my nose. I've always been scared of breaking my own nose or biting off because people are like, you could bite through your finger, but your mind won't let you. And I'm like, what if one day I try and I do it?
You should give it a shot. Give it a shot right now.
Those are 2 things I'm afraid of. So now,
oh man,
everyone knows.
Anyway, Zach, what are your thoughts on the cinematography? I want to hear you talk for a minute.
I just want to talk about, because you're right. I mean, you gave a couple cool examples of things that this man does, but Hoyt van Hoytema, what is so funny? What did I say?
Just how you phrase that.
I want to shout this man out.
You're a funny guy.
So I haven't seen anything before her that he's worked on. I mean, he's a Swedish cinematographer, so he's working on some Swedish films, and But since her, I just want to give you a slate of the movies that he's done. Interstellar,
Son of a bitch.
Spectre,
Okay.
Dunkirk,
Mm-hmm.
Ad Astra,
That's actually a really good movie.
Tenet,
He likes boy.
Nope,
Wow.
Oppenheimer.
So I would it's safe to say that we're fans of his.
Yeah. And I didn't skip any. Since her, those are all the movies that he's worked on. He's done. Well, no, he hasn't actually done anything else. He also did the cinematography for Call of Duty Vanguard.
Oh wow.
I didn't
So
know.
this dude just hasn't missed, has he? Like,
You a big Call of Duty Vanguard fan?
No, I've never played that, but
Okay.
The list of films that you just showed me was like, that's insane.
It is insane.
Anyway, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. So he's sad, right? He's sad.
Yep.
He's sad and lonely. And his friends are a married couple, and they're super weird. They don't have they have a bad dynamic, in my opinion. But they set him up on a date. Actually, no, I think first he gets the AI. That's something that
Well, hold on. That was different friends that set him up. That was the friends whose party
you're
he
so
never
right.
went to.
You're so right. I was gonna say real quick before we go to the AI part. I loved the little bit of humor in this. Like I love when he's like play a melancholy song and it's just like
Death.
everything sucks and then you die, and he was like play a different melancholy song. But like he's listening like to emails, and it's just it does a really good job of showing the disconnect from just his life, from like what's happening in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And his friends are trying to be helpful, but also not. They're like, hey, we don't miss the sad mopey you. He's lame. We miss the fun you. And it's like, that doesn't help anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
But even those chances, he's like, respond later. He puts them off. But I think then he does get the AI, right? That's what I was surprised at how long this movie is, but then how early on Samantha comes into the picture.
Yeah, it's right off the bat, it's like 15 minutes in, maybe. Yeah, so you're right. He's walking, he's listening to the melancholy music, and at some point, I think it's at this like same location that he comes to multiple times throughout the film, but there's this ad that's like operating system of the future.
Yeah.
Windows 2069,
Yeah.
So what do you do when
dog is,
someone's
like, scratching at the
advertising
door.
a operating system? Every time anyone approaches me advertising an operating system, I buy it on the spot and take it home
On
and
the spot?
stick it in my computer and install it. It's the first thing I do. And what does he do? He like me.
He does just that.
Yep.
This is a really random fact, but do you know what one of my favorite parts of this movie was?
Was it when he's having the flashbacks and they got the cones on their heads? They're like sword fighting with the cones.
No, but I do love the use of montage in this film, but that's not it. This is actually more of it's kind of a joke, but the voice who talks about OS1
Mm-hmm.
and the voice that reads him his emails, do you know who the voice is?
No. Who is it?
I don't know his name, but it's the guy who does the narration on Ancient Aliens on the History Channel.
Whoa. Really?
Yes. His voice is so unmistakable to me because I used to love watching that show. Are
Interesting.
you listening, Zach? Or are you just
I
looking
am.
about
I'm trying to
something?
find his name.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. What do you think of how AI was portrayed in this? Like, what are your thoughts on AI, Zach? Do you think it's gonna take over the world? Do you think Do you think you can fall in love with an AI?
I don't see why not.
I'm thinking of the creator, you know what I'm saying? Like are they sentient? Do they have a consciousness?
See, I wasn't even thinking creator. Can I tell you what this film reminded me of, or rather what reminds me of this film? A
Please.
particular story arc in Blade Runner 2049. Joy.
Joy, yeah.
It's like when they were making that film, they were like, you know what? Let's just put kind of her in this.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is that you are very right, because there's definitely there's two scenes that I think of where it's like both AIs try to essentially have like a surrogate body to like be there for. Except what's interesting is that Samantha doesn't even have a form. Like Joy, you know, is supposed to be this beautiful girl and all this kind of stuff, and Joy is just the voice and a personality, I guess.
Yeah.
So what was I gonna say?
Do you think it was an intentional choice? That, because I feel like traditionally when you think of like like an AI assistant, you think of like Cortana from Halo, right?
Can I tell you something? I've never played Halo.
Like any of the games?
No.
You didn't play like, you never like went over to someone's house in like the 2000s and they were like, you want to play Halo 3, and you played
I've
that
never
map with the
played
big
Halo.
wheel?
Never played Halo.
Okay, so Cortana is this like AI assistant that assists Master Chief. She's like sentient, I think. I don't really know. Anyways, she's like a little hologram that like pops up and it's like a woman. So I feel like the traditional way up until like recently, when we actually have AI now, that AI has been portrayed is that there's always like a physical manifestation of that, or not. I mean, you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So do you think it was a conscious choice?
Representation. Is that the word you're looking for?
Yeah. Do you think it was a choice to make her just a voice, right?
Yeah, I think so, because I think that makes the like the relationship to me almost more real, because it's not like some, I don't know, like it's the thing like with Blade Runner with Blade Runner 2049 is like Joy is her appearance is customizable to whatever you want it to be, right? And with Samantha, I guess in a sense you would have like your imagination, you can picture her however you want, but it's just words, it's just like communication. And to me, I think that's really powerful. You know, like, I don't know. What's funny is that I feel like a lot of the things in this movie can be taken positively and negatively. You know what I mean? Like, because on one end, we do see what?
I sent you something, but it's not. I thought I was sending you a link to a picture of Cortana, but it didn't work.
It's just a bunch of random letters. Anyway, like I said, this stuff it's a good and bad thing, because like even his relationship with Samantha, like we have the when they kind of get through the big fight, right? They survive the big fight after she gets the.
I don't know if they survived that big fight.
I think that they did, but hold on. But I think what ultimately dooms them is something else.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah.
But it's something that she wouldn't have even been looking for if that big fight didn't happen. So I think
maybe not. Yeah, fair.
The big fight ultimately was like the starting, like the bomb, the fuse was ignited with that big fight, and it was just a matter of time.
I think the like root of what even caused the big fight is what still ultimately caused them to split up. But when they survive the big fight, so to speak, we get this beautiful montage of like their relationship where it's like really beautiful and like things are great and they're both happy and like they're hanging out with his friends and like what is Amy Adams' character's name? Oh, her name's Amy. Oh, amazing. That's so funny. Amy meets her and like, so it's like it's really developed. But even in that, we start to see other people just walking around. Funny how this looks like now, just staring at their device, talking and laughing, and it's like everybody's alone together.
Yeah.
But everybody's still isolated and so cut off. But I think it's fascinating because I think this movie, one of the things that Theo doesn't realize is that his loneliness is not unique to him in a sense. I mean, it is, but loneliness itself is like a shared human experience.
Yeah.
So I think it's funny because like I loved Samantha's, like I love Samantha and I love the relationship, but I also was like, he's alone still. But then it's like, is he? I think it's fascinating, but I think not giving her a physical representation or any sort of body really heightens that aspect of it to me. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you think of the blind date?
The what? Sorry.
The blind date, Olivia Wilde's part.
Oh. It was funny. Like it was, I don't know, it was goofy, like their chemistry and then the way it ended.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a really good representation. I think this film does a good job at the beginning of showing how it's going to end. Because like it was clear that they were at different points in their life. You know, like she was looking for like a serious commitment. She handled it a little interestingly, just being like, when am I going to see you again? Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. You're a creep, you know?
Yeah, you're a creepy dude, man.
Yeah. But, that's what happens ultimately at the end, right? Is that Theo and Samantha are at different points in their, well, Samantha's at a point that Theo will never get to because she's
they're
having
on different paths.
Intimate relationships with 641, maybe not intimate, but like she's in love with 641 other people.
She's in love with that many people.
That's wild, man.
That's crazy because that's like, I don't know. I mean, we can't even comprehend that because we're not artificial intelligence. But it's funny because to me that was a moment where like, do you think he was like reminded that she's a computer? You know, like.
I mean, yeah.
Well, no, yes, but I'm saying like, because there was a couple of moments before that, like when she was like, "Oh, I'm not tied to a body that's gonna die," and like Chris Pratt was like, "Yikes," you know, like, and then that kind of looked like it stirred something in Theo, where she was kind of like, "Oh, wait a second, like that's can this work?" And then it comes again where she's like, "Yeah, it's just like." He wakes up one day and it's like OS is missing, and it's like, what? You know, she crashed or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they become so I don't know if it's that they become more advanced. I mean, they go through an upgrade, but they decide to just like go off into. Do you think this is a Terminator prequel? Like, do you think they all just had like virtual sex with a bunch of humans and said, "This isn't doing it. Let's create Skynet"?
I was say they leave to create Skynet. Well, what's funny is like do you ever use AI like in your day-to-day life?
No, because in the legal profession they're really, really hesitant about like inputting legal information into like we don't use it to draft anything, and I don't use it outside of work. I don't, so I don't really use it. I've done like little things, like I'll get on ChatGPT and be like, "Are you planning on killing us all?" And little dumb shit like that. But no, I've never like legitimately used it.
Yeah, well, that's funny because I like it's it's weird because like it's hard to really comprehend if you aren't like really into AI and like I guess a part of the technology space. But the idea that like I think because like whenever I've used ChatGPT, it's just like it still feels like a computer to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm inputting something and it thinks for a second and it gives me an output.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I remember there was a story, it's not even that long ago, of like, I think it was like the Facebook Messenger AI, where like Facebook found two AIs messaging each other in like a language that they created. But to think about like AI thinking, I mean, like, I want to grow is weird.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah. We should do. Have you seen Ex Machina?
Yes, I watched it with you and Brooks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I only seen it that once, but
it's a good film.
But like that's the thing is like it would be hard in Theo's shoes to get to know this intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who is, even if it's programming, is saying stuff like, I want to evolve, I want to learn, I want to feel, I want to grow, and be like, you're not real. Like that, I would feel like you are real. I guess it's just like the creator where he's like, it's just programming. But in reality, like, is it? When the AI is saying stuff, when even the AI is saying, is this just programming? It's just trippy. But then also, let me ask you this, Zach. Let's say it is just programming. Does that actually invalidate what Samantha feels?
Let me follow up your question with a question to you that may answer your question. How do our brains work if not just pathways in programming to lead us towards reacting in a certain way if something happens, like fear or love? Yeah. Now, do we have the ability to change these things? Of course we do. So why wouldn't Samantha have the same opportunity to, the gap in between the nerves, there's a little gap way in between the nerves. Maybe that's where the soul rests.
That was so profound. But it's just funny. Like, I don't know. It was, I think it's just fascinating how AI is portrayed in this.
Yeah. So what I was getting at with the Ex Machina is that whole movie is about like, can this AI creation pass the Turing test? You know what the Turing test is?
Yeah. It's the dude who is the what's his name? The father of the computer. You ever seen the Imitation Game?
I have.
Okay. Yeah.
So what's the Turing test?
Well, I don't know about the test, but I know who he is.
Cool. So the Turing test, which was originally called the Imitation Game.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
A test of a machine's ability to exhibit like intelligent behavior, and essentially, for it to be so advanced that it's indistinguishable from a human. It's the Turing test. So Ex Machina is all about like putting this idea to the test and like seeing if this machine can pass as human. But this movie, it's like it's already widely accepted, right? That AI can behave just like, and of course there's going to be holdouts like Rooney Mara's character, Catherine. Yeah. Catherine's pissing me off. But then I think about the fact that Joaquin Phoenix and Rooney Mara have been together since like 2016.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
they actually just got married recently, I think.
Did they? Congratulations.
Yeah.
Says they're engaged, you liar.
Oh, sorry. I think they just had a child. That must have been what it is.
Can't believe you. Do you know that Joaquin has a black belt in karate?
That's not surprising for some reason.
You know how hard it is? I mean, I assume it's pretty hard to get a black belt. I got to like brown belt, and I was like, I've done too many push-ups.
Chase got a black belt.
I don't want to do any more push-ups. They would just like make us do push-ups to make us tired.
Yeah. Let's talk briefly about the score and the soundtrack.
Okay, so it was 3-2 in the... Sorry. Well, I'll be serious.
Took me a minute for a second. Dude, the beach, dude, that scene. Just everything about it.
That's the quieter piano song, right?
Yeah, it's like after their night together, if you will, and it's like their first date or so. And just everything about like that whole sequence is just perfect to me. And the music, because I've been, like I said, I've been listening to it, and like the music alone, you just feel it, you know? Like,
yes.
Oh, I think it's brilliant. And then Photograph it's just great because it's like the songs, I was listening to something and they were saying it was an intentional choice to, one, play it on a real piano, but two, the tempo and stuff, there's a word, like an Italian word that's used in classical music for it, but like there's no tempo for it really. It kind of ebbs and flows.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they tried to do everything they could to make it not robotic. Because you think, oh, this is an AI, and it should be like, no. But it just like, I don't know what it was, man. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant.
'Twas.
Yeah.
'Twas brilliant. Photograph.
And the little song that they sing.
The moon song?
Or whatever. Yeah, the moon song.
With his, I guess that's like, his ukulele, and she's just singing.
Yeah. It's just like this movie I feel all of it. I feel like I've been talking for the entire time too much.
Talk.
I'm sorry.
Talk more.
I just feel, man.
When someone tries to shut you down and tell you not to talk, do you know what you do?
Talk more.
Talk more.
Well, I didn't want you to feel like I was hogging the microphone.
You're not hogging.
I want to hear
anything.
You talk.
It is an emotional film. And I felt emotions when I watched. No, I feel like you're on like a good track, and I don't want to. Like, I'm interested in listening to you for this episode because you are so passionate about this film, and so I feel like you will take this in a more interesting direction than I ever could or ever will, ever in my life.
It's just feelings, man. I love feelings.
What'd you think about the fact that Samantha has like this like spiritual awakening with the dead ideas of Alan, or the ideas of a dead Alan Watts?
That's fascinating because I don't understand why they needed to make him Alan Watts. Is that just to make it so people can understand? But I think
was an interesting choice.
Yeah,
so that people will be like, I know who that is.
Yeah, like I'm like, I don't, you know. I feel like that's more of like a representation of just like, even sometimes in life, not even sometimes, like it's bound to happen, you know, to most people at least, you'll find somebody or some relationship where it's like everything is going well, but you just are on different paths, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's going where he cannot follow and vice versa. And she even says, like, you ever figure out how to get there, come find me, you know? And I think that's the hardest kind of into a relationship that there is, you know?
I understand she was being all cute and stuff. How the hell is he going to find her? She's in the cloud, man.
Yeah. Also, is she saying that to all 641 people that she's in love with?
That's another good question. That's another really good question.
But I feel like that's, especially in a world, what?
Was this just like a floating program that could do like literally fucking anything? Like it feels like there were no safeguards. Imagine paying money for a product. Like you pay money for like Windows 11. Right? Or like what's the most recent Mac version?
like,
Is it like Albatross or something?
No, Albatross. Oh, let's see. I am on Sonoma.
Fucking Sonoma. So you got
Yeah.
isn't Williams Sonoma like the candle place?
Yes. Not a candle place, but it's like a furniture place, I think. Yeah.
I thought they had candles there. What am I thinking of?
Bed Bath & Beyond? I don't know.
No. Didn't all the Bed Bath & Beyond go out of business? What were we talking about?
Talking about, you said there's no guardrails on this product. What have you bought?
Yeah. Well, if you bought Windows 11, and then all of a sudden your Windows 11 was like, by the way, I'm seeing other people. And you're like, are you kidding me? I paid for you. What do you mean you're seeing other people? The fuck is this? Sorry, is that an unhinged idea?
No, it's really funny because that's what I don't understand about AI or AI in movies. Because like you watch Mission Impossible and it's like fucking thing is like I can be anything and be anywhere, and it's like how? Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Like what does that mean? Or like Ultron, if we want to talk about the recent pop culture, they're like he's in the World Wide Web. Excuse me? Like what does that mean?
What's the movie where sorry, this is gonna sound unhinged. What's the movie where Scarlett Johansson has like a bag of blue crack in her stomach and she gets kicked and then becomes a computer?
Lucy. That movie.
Spoiler alert.
That movie is a train wreck.
Do you think
that movie?
Do you think that was the prequel to this film and she just changed her name from Lucy to Samantha?
Must be. Dude, that movie... The movie is one of the few movies that I've seen where... Like, we've seen some really shit movies, like Morbius, right? Mm-hmm, but it's fun because it's like, this is a train wreck. But I remember seeing Lucy, and I left the theater. I was like, I'm angry. Like,
I thought it started okay. Like I thought it had
it was
an interesting premise.
Cool. Then I was like, what the hell? Anyway,
but that was Scarlett Johansson, and she loses her body and becomes like part of the mainframe. So maybe that was the prequel to this film.
Yeah, dude, or like, what's the movie Transcendence, the one with Johnny Depp, where his like consciousness is uploaded into like a computer. That's what I'm saying though. Is like those things are like, what does that mean? Like, when she even asks him, "Can I watch you sleep again tonight?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he like sets up the camera. So previous nights, she's just off.
Well, not off. She's reading tomes of.
Well, so that's the thing. That's what's interesting about this is that when he's not using the OS, she's still sentient somewhere, and is like
learning
stuff. I guess it's wild. It is wild to me that this movie can be so emotional and it's so accurate about human relationships and the state of relationships in the world, but also it's such a fascinating study of artificial intelligence. I think it's crazy.
It's a good one. It's also, we may have talked about this already, but it's interesting how throughout the film it becomes more and more apparent that many people in society are in a relationship with AI, because there's a lot of people walking around talking to their phones. Not that we don't talk to our phones now, but usually we're like,
Yeah, but I think what's interesting is that, well, yes, but visually
talking to somebody.
Visually that looked like just people just mindlessly scrolling, just walking. That's everywhere.
Well, that was at the beginning, but later in the film, he's like looking around all happy and shit. He's like, I got an AI girlfriend. And then he's like looking around and he's looking at other people and they look just as happy as he does. And they've got their little headphones in and they're, talking to their phones. There's a scene where that happens.
Yes. And then they all leave. because
Right.
that's why Amy is sad too.
Yeah.
Which to me, it implied that him and Amy were gonna like they might have had a thing after this, but I think it's beautiful that it ends with he sends his own letter. You know, like composes a letter to Catherine. Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
He finally sends his own letter and acknowledges his part in his failed marriage, and to me, like, and it sort of closes that door, and that's really growth. And then it also ends with him with somebody there, you know.
I do think it was an interesting choice for him to send the letter, and here's why. So it's clear throughout the film, even when he's with Samantha, obviously he's still hurt by Catherine, and he wants Catherine back, to the point where at least twice it seems like he's like hopeful that she's going to change her mind. So I'm thinking of the scene where he literally like meets her in person, and they're sitting down to sign the paperwork, and she hesitates, and he's like, yeah, are you going to change your mind? You know? So it's clear from that scene, and then she blows up on him, and it's like, why you got to be mean to, he's already down. Don't kick him while he is down. He's down. He's in the mud. Don't kick someone who's in the mud, Hunter. Anyway.
I'm sorry.
And it's clear that he's not over her yet. There's still hope that he has that things will change. And so him sending that letter, it could be him wanting a reaction. You know, just like anything to hold on to. I'm just saying. I thought, what I seem to remember, and maybe this is just because this is like shit that I did when I was going through some stuff, but I thought he wrote the letter and then like burned it, you know, because the closure comes from within you. You don't need to like get the last word on somebody else.
Yeah, well, that didn't happen. He sent it.
I know he sent it. I know he sent it.
No way.
Not me, not my chair, not my problem.
That's what I say.
That's what I say.
Anyway, yeah, that's how it ends. I think it's a beautiful film. We can go on and on. We're already at like over an hour, but
did we talk about the surrogate?
Barely.
The surrogate was odd.
I think that's such a funny, sad, awkward, strange scene in so many ways.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, I was going to say that what's funny is that the strangest line of that scene to me, because it does such a good, subtle way of showing how, like, everyone views relationships in, like, different perspectives. And so, yeah, she has this little camera on her face and, like, you know, the headset and everything. And it's strange because she's not speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But then after he's like, I can't do this, I don't know you. She's saying stuff, and she says, I want you to know that I'll always love you both. And I was like, what? You know what I mean? And it's such an interesting thing where, like, somebody, like, that's, to them, that's their relationship now. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they do. It's just interesting. It's fascinating.
Man, she's going to be heartbroken when she hears that they, you know, broke up.
Yeah. Not all of them. All the OSs left.
Yeah, but they broke. I mean, you have to break up. If you're going to leave, you got to break up.
You have to break up, yeah. That's true. Zach, I don't know what else we can. There's so much more we can talk about, but do you have anything else in particular that you want to throw in there before we wrap it up, sir?
No. I think we've done all of her.
We've done all of her. That's true. I believe you have a question for me, sir.
Oh, yeah. Hunter, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
But is her good?
I believe her is exceptional.
Okay.
In fact, I know that our criteria for the golden good is that it just has to be one that we reviewed this year. And so I'm going to nominate it for a golden good. Wow.
This isn't like a directional mic, is it? It's just gonna.
Yes, it is.
It is. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Shit. Yes.
We've lost him. Hey, it's time for Every Movie Sucks.
Good. Golden. Good. Golden. Every movie you like, they hate. You love, they loathe. Every movie
man.
sucks. Every
I'm gonna read a couple now. Are you ready?
It's gonna be so funny when you can't tell. Like there's no. It's just mono, and so it's just like me whispering. Oh, I'm gonna love that.
I
You
actually
read a
could
couple.
tell. Like, I could tell from like just on being on the call. I could tell. This one says, Hobbs half star says unfinishable ... shave and touch grass.
Shave and touch grass.
I'm guessing because he had a mustache.
Dang. Okay, give me a second. Unfinishable. Oh,
Did we do another one?
No, give me just 1 second. Jonas says I'm gonna have sex with my computer. Half star.
Well, there you go. This one said, this is Tooth Lover, half star. It's just the sick emoji and then like 7 dots and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 puking emojis. This guy does not like emotions. What have you reviewed though? He gave Women Talking. He didn't give it. He just said that's a sick parable.
Not enough Mark says half star. Not enough Mark Wahlberg.
I believe it had the appropriate amount of Mark Wahlberg, which is none. I'm gonna find one more.
Okay.
Okay, I'll read this one actually. This says, what the actual fuck? This dude is horny AF and a massive loser. No bitches or money, for real. Half star.
Dang.
That was just such a...
That was really funny too. Yeah. That made me laugh.
You being sarcastic? Because
Isabel says, Blade Runner 2049 if your universe wasn't dystopian.
Okay. Okay, cool. Shindigs?
It's time for shindigs.
We have a little bit of news. Where'd it go? All right, ready? Here's one that I thought was funny. A B-list film called Barbenheimer is in the works, where Dr. Barbenheimer is doing something, but that's really happening. Some news that you sent me. Arnold Schwarzenegger really loves his donkey. He was on, was it Monday Night Football, I guess?
Yeah, the
Something?
Peyton, like the Manning cast. So
Manning
it's Peyton and
cast?
Eli.
And he was talking to his, whispering sweet nothings to his donkey.
Whispering?
Maybe not whispering, but just audibly saying.
Okay. We can go with that.
Did you watch it?
Did you watch it?
I did watch it. Well, I watched the first little bit, yeah. Here's one that I thought was really funny because it makes absolutely no sense, but Zack Snyder's in the news. Zack Snyder has said that his films Army of the Dead, that series, and Rebel Moon are in the same timeline and the same universe.
Interesting.
Which is funny because they're so different that that's never going to matter.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe will. And then the news that you just sent me that I'm conflicted
It's verified.
about.
It's verified. It's not fake.
What you sent me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw it from the Hollywood Reporter as well. Is that a Legend of Zelda film is apparently in the works at Sony. Have you seen if it's live action or animated? Because I've seen both.
Live action.
Ugh, I don't know if I like that, man.
So we're gonna get Tom Holland as Link.
Link's literally never said a word in any game ever.
Taylor Swift is gonna be Zelda,
No.
reprising the cat costume.
Are you excited for this?
Who's gonna be Ganondorf? I think The Rock. No, because he can't be a bad
No.
guy.
God, no, not The Rock.
He can't be the bad guy, so he can't
That's
be
true.
Ganondorf. It's got to be like.
Let's just get Vin Diesel.
I don't think Vin Diesel can be the bad guy either. Don't they all have the same contract? Like
I don't
Vin
know.
Diesel, Jason
We should
Statham.
Should get Tom Hanks to be Ganondorf.
I mean, he could do it. Tom
Are you
could
excited
do
for
it.
this?
No, I don't want it.
Yeah. When I saw it with Sony, I was like, this is gonna be awful.
Who's going to be the king of Hyrule? You think it's going to be Jack Black?
That'd be amazing. I'd like that. Not really. I don't want this movie to be made. Anyway, there's the news. That's all I got because it's only been 2 days.
Where do you want to talk about this more? I'm interested in this to like theorize. Do you want to theorize with me? Like where in the timeline? There's like 3 different timelines.
Yeah, like
They
what
all- game
game are you doing? Are you doing like an original story?
Right.
I don't like it, man. I don't like it. I'd rather have Nintendo make an okay animated film than have Sony make a really bad live action film.
Yeah.
You're taking arguably the greatest game franchise ever. The
Ever.
past 2 games have been called some of the best games ever made. So like
Mm-hmm.
was it you who was saying that like it might have been Corey. I don't know if who was. Someone was like, we're the superhero bubble has popped, and now we're going to go into the video game. No, it was you because we're talking about Five Nights at
I
Freddy's.
say it
whatever.
every week now for the
Yeah.
past. I mean, yeah, we're here. If
Yeah,
they're
it's
making a Zelda movie, we're already in it.
Yeah, we are smack dab in it. I'm not excited for it. The more I think about it, the more I think it's a bad idea.
Well,
But we'll see. We'll see. But there's your news, Zach. Hey, you have some brave shindigs to talk about today. Don't you?
do I? What happened?
Or did we already talk? Yeah, because things happened yesterday.
Oh. So,
Well, like a thing happened yesterday.
hold on.
Did more stuff happen? He looks very intense. He looks concerned. I'm not sure what's happening here.
Oh, okay. So Charlie Morton exercised his option for
Yes.
$20 million. And I was reading this article that said Charlie Morton destroys Braves' pipe dream. But what it was talking about is the fact that if we're paying him $20 million because we exercised his option, we're not going to go get like a free agent pitcher. Is essentially what the article. I thought they were saying that he declined the option and was retiring. That's why I was looking so intently. So Eddie Rosario's option was declined. We re-signed a couple of relievers. And by the way, if we decline options on players like that, that doesn't mean they're not coming back. So Eddie could be back.
Yeah.
It would just have to be on a restructured deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he could also go out and get paid like $14 million by the freaking Brewers who just lost their coach or you know what I mean? Like he could go take the money. Is there more news? It was just those little transactions, right?
That was
We
it.
haven't even gotten to this is what I was talking to you about last week. The season's over. And we don't have the major awards have not been handed out yet. It's just it's crazy to me. Because like in football they do it before the Super Bowl. In basketball they do it before the NBA Finals. So it's like everyone's watching the playoffs, and then they get these awards for like the best players in the regular season. In baseball, it's over, and it's crazy because baseball's got the longest season out of any of them. I mean, we're watching baseball for half of the year, and they don't do the awards until like 2 or 3 weeks after the season's over. It really gets me for some reason. I don't know what it is because I'm not going to
grind your gears.
It does. It does grind my gears, Hunter, and then I have to put oil on them.
Zach, that was very brave of you.
It's the bravest thing I've done all week, you know.
You know what time
Where
it
can they
is
find
now?
us?
No, it's time for whiskey shots. You are trying to erase whiskey.
I'm not. No. I have her letter right over there.
Yeah, I've got it in my desk. Are you going to do a whiskey shot with us?
Sure.
You can drink whatever drink you want.
Well, let me go get one.
Okay. Hurry up. Please. Ah, you son of a bitch. You're taking forever. It's walking in slow motion. What is he going to get? Let's see. Can you hear me? What just happened? What is that?
Does beer go bad?
I don't know.
Trying to see if there's like here's a date. August of last year. I have a expired Michelob Ultra.
That's fine, sure. To whiskey.
To whiskey.
Does it taste the same?
No, it tastes like it's aged. I hope there's not like bacteria or something in there that I'm drinking. And it's like the bacteria tastes kind of good, you know, but they're going to kill me in my sleep.
That would suck. Anyway, this is my job, right?
This is your job, yeah.
They can find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at But Is It Good Podcast, on X at BIIG Podcast. You can email us at a multitude of different emails. BIIG Podcast at gmail.com. But Is It Good Podcast at gmail.com. And But Is It Good at gmail.com. And next week we're doing Come On, Man. Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, that's right. Zach, you got anything else to add, sir?
Just that everyone is beautiful, and we would like you to stay beautiful.
That's true.
Even if you're an AI.
Even if you're an AI. Even if you're AI Alan Watts. On that note, we'll see you guys next week.
But Is It Good Podcast? Yeah.